Hello TWR-PRO fans, I am Gary Gribble, and this is episode 4 of the TWR-PRO podcast. On today's show, we're going to take a look back at the Tag Team Championship Tournament, as well as look forward to Attack of the Killer Zeus. The Tag Team Championship Tournament has come and gone. We've crowned our first ever Tag Team Champions, and there was plenty of great wrestling and controversy along the way. Perhaps the biggest story of the first round was the controversial way that the eventual tournament winners, Brian Damage and Giant Walking, defeated Mark Ventress and Todd Mabe. After a massive chokeslam from Giant Walking to Todd Mabe, Giant Walking went for the cover. Ventress rushed in to stop the count, and at the same time that Flomada's hand touched the mat, Ventress broke up the pin. Mark has made it quite clear that he is not happy about the ruling, even going as far as to make a slow-motion video showing exactly what happened. Paul Jordan commented on the situation, saying the following: TWR-PRO trusts its officials to make the right call in all situations. There is no video replay in TWR-PRO, and the official's decision is final. The Team High Voltage Pegasus Future Army, consisting of Gino Brooks and Brian Cook, made it to the finals of the tournament, but lost when Cookie took the pinfall. Since then, the two have been going back and forth in promos and on Twitter, Cookie insinuating that Gino did not attempt to make the save on purpose, while Gino is blaming Cookie for not being able to hold his own and kick out. It seems like the honeymoon was short-lived for these two, and that a split is imminent. Also at the Tag Team Championship Tournament, the TWR-PRO World Championship was defended for only the second time in its brief history, as Jules Fontaine took on Lexicon in a steel cage. The match was made after Fontaine retained his title via countout loss against Lexicon in Over the Top Rope 2012. Unfortunately for Lexicon, putting up 4 steel walls didn't change the fact that Jules is still a dominant wrestler. Fontaine picked up the win after hitting a murderous backdrop, followed by the be-all end-all of finishers, the Spiral Bomb. The next TWR-PRO event has been scheduled and the card is set. But before we get to that, I, Gary Gribble, TWR-PRO Insider, have an exclusive scoop just for you listeners. Yesterday around 10 a.m. Pacific Time, Lexicon arrived here at the TWR-PRO headquarters looking extremely upset. Lexicon headed straight into Paul Jordan's office and was there for nearly 4 hours. When Lexicon finally swung the door open, Paul Jordan followed him out with a huge red mark across his cheek. I tried to get a word with Lexicon, but he ignored me and nearly ran me over in the parking lot. I was able to get a few words with Paul Jordan, however. This is what he had to say. Quote, "Dan Phelps is at it once again," unquote. When I asked about the mark on Jordan's face, Paul said, "Lexicon is extremely emotional. He tagged me pretty good. Normally that would lead to termination, but I know that Dan is using Lexicon to get to me. Dan is playing a game he's not ready to play. You just don't mess with the man's family and expect things to go smoothly. While Lexicon does need to control himself better, I completely understand his frustration." A few days ago, a video was put up on the TWR-PRO website that hinted at the gods paying a visit to Lexicon's family in Northern California. We'll have more on this story as it develops. Now on to brighter news. TWR-PRO's next event is entitled Attack of the Killer Zeus, in reference to our big World Championship main event. And let's take a look at the card, shall we? Lexicon versus Denny Dynamo. Lexicon said that he'd go back down to the bottom of the ladder and work his way back up to the World Championship. But is his mind clear to pick up the win against Denny Dynamo? Dynamo has been quite impressive in his few TWR-PRO appearances, but this is his first one-on-one match in the company. This should be one hell of an opener, that is for sure. Mark Ventress takes on the debuting Dewan Aaron. Ventress has developed quite the fan following, but will he be prepared for the unique style of Dewan Aaron? Former tag team partners collide as Justin Massey takes on Dino Peppers. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect out of this match, so I'll just leave it at that. The number 1 contendership of the tag team titles is on the line, as Scotty Cakes and Shane Matthews will represent the gods to take on John Tolley and Josiah Finch. Tolley is seething at Scotty Cakes for not cooperating in their first round match at the tournament and wants revenge on the big man. Shane Matthews, on the other hand, has basically said he wants nothing to do with this match or the tag team titles. An interesting statement indeed. We go from the number one contendership of the tag team title to the number one contendership of the world title. The way it will be decided, Gino versus Cookie 3. That's right, this is the third battle between the two, and the series is currently tied up at 1 apiece. Coming off the tumultuous pairing up in the tag team tournament, this match should be an explosive one, to say the least. And finally, the TWR-PRO World Championship will be on the line as Jules Fontaine defends against Over the Top Rope 2012 winner, Zeus Bente. Zeus is Jules' biggest challenger for the world title to date, and this should be a knockdown, drag-out brawl. Will Zeus walk away the second ever TWR-PRO champion, or will Jules find a way to keep it in Camp Fontaine? Folks, that'll do it for us here on the TWR-PRO podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget to check out everything TWR-PRO at twrpro.proboards.com. That's twrpro.proboards.com. And don't forget to visit our sponsors at twrnetwork.com. Until next time, I am Gary Gribble, your TWR-PRO insider, saying good night.